Warning: the Curious Native podcast contains mature topics and themes that are intended for an older youth and adult audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, welcome to the Curious Native podcast. I'm your host, Hunus Magatian, and in today's episode, we will be reviewing and talking about an Amazon Prime series that sets out to make a socially and political statement, all while turning the superhero genre on its head. Today, we'll be talking about the Amazon Prime series, The Boys, based on a comic from 2006 of the same name. In The Boys, we're introduced to a world where superheroes aren't always the shining beacons of hope we expect them to be. Instead, they're flawed, morally ambiguous, and driven by corporate greed. Throughout the series, we'll discuss how The Boys tackles relevant social issues such as media manipulation, corporate influence, and the abuse of power. We'll explore the show's exploration of the moral gray areas of heroism, prompting us to question what it truly means to be a hero, as well as what the series has to say about society, and maybe a little critique of the source material because I'm feeling like a jerk. So, if you are interested, please keep on listening. So, to begin, what is The Boys? The Boys is a popular TV series that is based on a comic book of the same name by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. The show presents a unique take, on the superhero genre by exploring the darker side of superheroes and the corrupt system that surrounds them. It was created by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. The public perspective of the show has been largely positive. Viewers appreciate its gritty and subversive approach, which offers a fresh and realistic portrayal of superheroes. The show has gained a dedicated fan base and has been praised for its compelling storytelling, complex characters, and social commentary. Eric Kripke, known for his work on Supernatural, is the creator of the TV adaptation of The Boys. He serves as the showrunner, overseeing the overall production and direction of the series. Kripke has been instrumental in bringing the comics vision to the small screen, ensuring that its edgy and satirical elements are maintained, all while creating its own unique story. The Boys has been a success for Amazon Prime Video, where it is exclusively available for streaming now that the strike is over. I feel comfortable enough to put that out there. This is streaming on Amazon Prime Video. I had no foot in that fight, but I also didn't want to, people who are in unions work really freaking hard to get where they're at, so, and they absolutely fought for all their rights that they have as workers, so I supported out of support and solidarity. I didn't do this episode until now because of the strike, but now that it's over, go stream the series. It's a great show. Anyways, the show has been renewed for multiple seasons, indicating its popularity and critical acclaim, although I believe this most recent season is coming out is going to be its last one, but I'm not 100% certain on that one, so we'll have to see. It has also received several award nominations and has been praised for its strong performances, visual effects, and thought-provoking narrative. Overall, The Boys is a gripping TV series that offers a fresh perspective on superheroes and garnered a positive response from the public. With its talented creator and showrunner Eric Kripke at the helm, the show continues to captivate audiences with its dark and compelling storytelling. Well, now that you know all the necessary information that you need to know about The Boys, I guess we can get into Season 1. But before we do, I'm going to say this, that I'm not going to completely spoil all of Season 1. Like, I'm not going to be able to go through each freaking scene and episode and be like, this and this and this. I will kind of give the themes of the season, kind of a little bit of a rundown, and then my personal opinions on the season at the end of each critique and kind of going through it all. So, in the first season of The Boys, the plot revolves around a group of vigilantes known as The Boys, who are determined to expose and take down corrupt superheroes known as the Seven. Led by Billy Butcher, played by Carl Urban, The Boys seeks justice for the atrocities committed by the Seven while dealing with their own personal demons. I would personally say those personal demons are the reason for them doing that, more so than wanting to actually fight atrocities. But I digress for right now. The Seven, a group of renowned superheroes, are portrayed by talented actors. Homelander, the leader of the Seven, is played by Anthony Starr. He represents the archetype of the all-American patriotic superhero, so like very much early Superman, or even like a Captain America, but like really fucked up. Queen Maeve, played by Dominique McElliott, embodies the archetype of the disillusioned hero burdened by the dark secrets of the superhero world. The Deep, portrayed by Chase Crawford, is the archetype of the arrogant and self-absorbed hero. Aya Cash joins the cast in Season 2 as Stormfront, a new member of the Seven who challenges the traditional superhero archetype. On the other side, the boys consist of Carl Urban as Billy Butcher, who is the charismatic and vengeful leader of the group. Jack Quaid plays Huey Campbell, the audience's entry point into the world of the boys, representing the archetype of the reluctant hero seeking revenge. Laz Alonso plays Mother's Milk, the level-headed and loyal member of the team. Tomer Capon plays Frenchie, the skilled and resourceful member of the boys, providing a touch of comic relief. Karen Fukihara rounds out the team as Kimiko, a mysterious and powerful individual seeking her own form of justice, which I feel like she is one of the best parts of this version of the boys versus in the comics, where she is, I don't even remember what her name is, since it's been a long time since I reread the comic. I didn't really want to. I watched the show, and the show was great. You know, I read the comic before I ever watched the show. I read it as a teenager when I was like 15, 16. That's at the point in time when I was really, really, really deep into comics. Particularly like alternate versions of like superheroes. So I loved like parodies, and the boys definitely played into that. So yeah, I just didn't feel like I think her name was, I think it's the lady or something. I can't remember right now. Or is it the girl? I don't know. All I know is her character is way better in the live action series versus the comic version of her. So that's just my pinpoint. Season 1 of The Boys is highly regarded for several reasons. Firstly, it represents a fresh and subversive take on the superhero genre, exploring the moral complexities and flaws of the characters. The show delves into themes of power, corruption, and the consequences of unchecked authority. It challenges the idea of superheroes as infallible and explores the darker side of their existence. Additionally, the performances in Season 1 are exceptional. The actors bring depth and complexity to their characters, making them relatable and intriguing. The writing is sharp, blending dark humor with intense drama, keeping the audiences engaged throughout. The show also boasts impressive production values, including stunning visual effects and thrilling action sequences. Furthermore, Season 1 of The Boys successfully balances the social commentary with its entertaining narrative. It tackles relevant issues such as celebrity culture, corporate influence, and the abuse of power. The show prompts viewers to question the idolization of superheroes and the consequences of blindly following public figures. The show's dark and gritty tone also sets it apart from the traditional superhero genre stories, offering a refreshing and thought-provoking perspective. It explores, the moral gray areas of heroism, highlighting the flaws and complexities of both the heroes and the anti-heroes, villains, bad guys alike. The character development in Season 1 is exceptional as well. We witnessed the growth and transformation of characters like Huey, who starts out as a timid and grieving individual, but evolves into a determined and courageous member of the boys. The relationship between characters are also explored, adding depth and emotional resonance to the story. One of the standout aspects of Season 1 is ability to tackle relevant social issues. It addresses themes of corporate greed, media manipulation, and the abuse of power, making it a timely and socially conscious series. By presenting flawed and morally ambiguous characters, the show also challenges the notion of heroism and forces us to question the true nature of power. The writing in Season 1 is sharp and engaging, with well-crafted dialogue and intricate plot twists. The show keeps viewers on the edge of their seats, constantly surprising them with unexpected turns and revelations. It successfully balances intense action sequences with moments of emotional depth, creating compelling and immersive viewing, an immersive viewing experience. Furthermore, the production values in Season 1 of The Boys are top-notch. The visual effects are seamlessly integrated, enhancing the superhero genre action while maintaining a grounded and realistic feel to it. the attention to detail in the set designs, costumes, and cinematography further contributes to the show's immersive world building. I'm specifically even just thinking of, like, the ending of season 1 with what is her name now? Starlight, excuse me, and A-Train in their fight. The cinematography was absolutely beautiful, and it was great camera work. So, kudos to them, to the crew who made that possible. Overall, season 1 of The Boys stands out as a captivating and thought-provoking series. It challenges the conventions of the superhero genre, offering a fresh and nuanced take on familiar tropes with stellar performances, engaging storytelling, and commentary. It has garnered critical acclaim and a dedicated fan base. If you're a fan of complex characters, dark humor, and exploring the darker side of superheroism, you'll definitely enjoy season 1 of The Boys. I would say if you like Super, that movie by I think it was one of the guy who's now heading the new DC movies. I think one of his brothers created that movie. Anyways, I feel like if you like Super, you'll definitely like season 1 of The Boys. So now that we talked about season 1, we can dive into season 2. But I do want to say first and foremost that, as much as I love The Boys, the series The Boys is a great show. Season 1, for me personally, though, is a little bit dry. It gave us what we needed, don't get me wrong, but like I did say that the cinematography for A-Train and Starlight's fight was beautiful and the camera work was great, but I also felt that their fight was a little underwhelming, as it was the last fight within that specific, the series, season 1. So I don't know, I just felt like it could have been a bit more, considering we were seeing a bunch of crazy shit all that first season. I mean, somebody got their head squished from a lady sitting on his face, so that should kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with. But, like I said, now that we talked about season 1, we can dive into the plot of season 2 of The Boys and explore the character Stormfront, her actor, her representation as a Nazi, the archetypes in the show, and why season 2 is considered okay but not perfect. So, to begin, in season 2 of The Boys, the story continues to follow the conflicts between the vigilante group known as The Boys and the corrupt superhero organization known as the Seven. With the revelations of Compound V, a substance that grants superhuman abilities, the stakes are raised even higher as the true extent of the superhero world's corruption is exposed. One of the key additions to season 2 is the character Stormfront, portrayed by Aya Cash. Stormfront is a charismatic and powerful supe who becomes a member of the Seven. However, as the season progresses, her true nature is revealed, and it is unveiled that she has a dark past as a fucking Nazi. Like, she straight up was like she knew Hitler. Like, there's pictures of her with Hitler. Stormfront's representation as a Nazi is significant in highlighting the dangers of extremist ideologies and the manipulation of power. Her character serves as a critique of white supremacy and the insidious ways in which hate and discrimination can infiltrate society. By incorporating the storyline, The Boys confronts uncomfortable truths and sparks important conversations about the dangers of extremism. The show utilizes various archetypes to depict its characters. For example, Homelander represents the corrupt and power-hungry leader, while Billy Butcher embodies the relentless anti-hero seeking justice, but with his own, personal demons in play. Each character brings a unique perspective to the narrative, showcasing different facets of power, morality, and the human condition. And although I did say that about Billy Butcher, let me just say this. He is a fucking asshole. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. But I do think the actor does a great job playing him, so. While season 2 of The Boys has received a positive reception overall, it is considered okay but not perfect for a few reasons. Some viewers felt that the pacing was uneven at times, with certain storylines feeling rushed or underdeveloped. Additionally, introductions of new characters and subplots resulted in crowding narrative, making it challenging for all storylines to receive equal attention and depth. Although I would say this is less on the showrunners and more so on the actual comic series, as that's what the comic is too. It just feels so clumped together at times, and it's kind of hard not to have that translate on over to the screen. But That's just what I'm kind of thinking. Furthermore, the show's dark and satirical tone, while enjoyed by many, can be polarizing for some viewers. The blending of intense action, graphic violence, and biting social commentary may not resonate with everyone's taste or sensibilities. But with that being said, Season 2 still delivers on its strengths, including its compelling performances, thought-provoking themes, and its ability to subvert the superhero genre. It continues to explore complex characters and pushes boundaries in its explanation and examination of power dynamics and social issues. Season 2 of The Boys effectively calls out public figures who have used progressive ideologies and politics to mask their bigotry. The show cleverly utilizes the character Stormfront as a vehicle to address this pervasive and disgusting issue in our society. Throughout the season, Stormfront presents herself as a champion of progressive ideals, using her social media and public appearances to promote her seemingly inclusive and forward-thinking agenda. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that her true intentions are rooted in hate and bigotry. By exposing this hypocrisy, The Boys shines a light on the danger of individuals who use progressive language and politics as a facade to further their own discriminatory agendas. It serves as a powerful commentary on ways in which bigotry can hide behind a mask of progressivism, deceiving and manipulating the public. The decision to use Stormfront as the embodiment of this issue is smart, as an effective choice. Her character represents the insidious nature of bigotry, showing how it can infiltrate even the most seemingly progressive spaces. By confronting the uncomfortable truth head-on, The Boys forces viewers to confront the reality that not all who claim to fight for justice and equality are genuine in their interactions and intentions. While Season 2 may not be perfect, it deserves respect for its bold and unflinching approach to tackling these important social issues. The show's willingness to confront the hypocrisy of public figures who use progressive ideologies to mask their bigotry is a commendable one. Furthermore, The Boys does shy away from the uncomfortable and disturbing aspects of this problem. It exposes a dark underbelly of society, highlighting the dangers of allowing individuals with hidden agendas to manipulate public opinion and perpetuate hate. The show's exploration of this theme serves as a reminder that to remain vigilant and critical of those who claim to be allies of progress is most certainly, it's something that must be done. It encourages viewers to question and scrutinize the actions and motives of public figures, regardless of their how progressive they are, reminding us that the true progress requires a genuine commitment to equality and justice. In conclusion, The Boys Season 2 effectively calls out public figures who use progressive ideologies and politics to mask their hatred and their bigotry by utilizing the characters of Stormfront. The show exposes the dangers of this pervasive problem and encourages viewers to remain vigilant. Though not perfect, the season deserves respect for its bold and thought-provoking approach to addressing these important social issues. Overall, I do feel Season 2 is a better season than Season 1. I did like the plot twist. I thought it was actually insane. I had a feeling that was what the plot twist was going to be, though, even though I felt them going there was kind of crazy. I had a feeling that that's what that was going to be because it was Stormfront. I already knew who the character was from the comics. He was quite literally a Nazi in the comics who tried to take over the United States. But, I wasn't quite sure if that was the route they were going to go with her or if they were even going to necessarily make her an outright Nazi. I thought they were more so going to go a different route with her. I thought they were going to make her more of like an American right-winger who aren't necessarily Nazis but can share some things with them. But they didn't go that route. They just straight up made her a Nazi, a secret Nazi, a twist. But I did like the season better. I thought it was way better than Season 1 in the sense that we got more out of it. Especially with that fight between Stormfront and when Stormfront, Queen Maeve, Kimiko, and Starlight jump Stormfront. That was pretty good. So, I don't know. I loved it. I liked it. So now that we talked about Season 2, let's get into Season 3, the last season as of now. and what it has to say about confronting the past. Season 3 of The Boys delves into the consequences of the past resurfacing and how they contribute to problems of today. The introduction of Soldier Boy and his connections to Homelander highlights the way in which the actions of the past shape the present. Soldier Boy's character represents a bygone era of superheroes, and his arrival brings to light the dark history and questionable practices that have been swept under the rug. This exploration of the past serves as a reminder that problems we face today are often rooted in the actions and decisions of those who came before us. While Season 3 may not be perfect, it deserves respect for its ability to address these complex and timely issues. The show's willingness to confront racism and explore the consequences of the past demonstrates its commitment to tackling important social themes. Moreover, Season 3's exploration of timeless storylines ensures that its impact will endure beyond its initial release by addressing issues deeply rooted in society, such as the consequences of the past, systematic racism, and the struggles of activists. The Boys presents narratives that will remain relevant and thought-provoking for years to come. Also, in Season 3 of The Boys, we see Starlight and Mother's Milk growing closer as they strive to do better than their past actions and conflicts, which was one of my favorite parts of this season, was the relations between Mother's Milk and Starlight, Annie, and I had his name written down. Where did I put it? I only have MM written down. I should have written down his actual name, but their little arc, their character arcs focus on personal growth and redemption, and I love them. And I love them together as friends. It's like a relationship that I didn't know I needed, but now that we got, I'm happy. Starlight, played by Erin Murartry, I believe is how, I'm not quite sure, undergoes a significant transformation as she learns from her previous experiences and strives to make amends. Excuse me if anybody hears my kitty cat sneezing. She is in the room. She becomes more determined to fight against the corrupt system and stand up for what is right, but that sort of started in Season 1, so long progress with Annie. Similarly, Mother Milk, portrayed by Laz Alonso, also experiences growth and development in Season 3 as a member of The Boys. He confronts his own past and strives to make a positive impact. His character arc emphasizes the importance of personal growth and learning from past mistakes. Moreover, Season 3 addresses the military-industrial complex and its involvement in systematic issues. Mallory's character, played by Layla Robinson, sheds light on the corrupt practices and power dynamics within this complex. The show explores how these institutions perpetuate and benefit from injustices presented in society. By addressing these themes, The Boys provides a critical commentary on the systematic issues that plague our world and our society. The growth of characters like Starlight and Mother's Milk, along with the exploration of the military-industrial complex, adds depths and complexity that I personally really do appreciate after having to have read the original comic as a teenager. So I appreciate you, Kripke, for this one. Season 3 of The Boys focuses on characters like Starlight and Mother's Milk as they strive to do better than their past actions. The season also addresses the military-industrial complex and its involvement in societal issues. The storyline contributes to the show's critical commentary on social issues. In conclusion, Season 3 of The Boys delves into the consequences of the past and has been one of the most progressive seasons, I think, of this series so far. The creation of present-day problems, and the confrontation of racism. Through characters like Soldier Boy and Mother's Milk, the show explores the impact in history and the struggles faced by black activists. While not perfect, Season deserves a lot of respect for its explorations of these important themes when a lot of other shows will gladly gloss over them, all to make, Army Man cool. That's what they would do. It's a timeless story. It's a timeless storyline that most certainly ensures that its impact will be long lasting, way after its release. So that's all 3 of the latest seasons of The Boys. It may not be a perfect adaptation of the comics, but it is a good one. One notable difference is how the show handles gore and adult content. While the comic can sometimes feel exploitative and unnecessary in its depiction, the TV series takes a tamer approach. It presents the violence in a way that serves the story without crossing into gratuitous territory. Another strength of the show is how it expands on the characters from the comics. Even the most horrible characters are given depth and complexity, making them more multifaceted. This adds layers to the narrative and allows for a deeper exploration of their motivations and actions. However, it is important to note that the show still maintains the central premise that these characters are not the traditional good guys. One of the show's greatest accomplishments is its ability to make a statement without being overly gratuitous. It strikes a balance between delivering a powerful message and not crossing the line into excessive violence or shock value. This approach allows the show to maintain its integrity and effectively conveys its themes without alienating viewers. Overall, The Boys succeeds in being a good adaptation by toning down the explicit content from the comics, expanding on the characters' complexity, and maintaining a careful balance between making a statement and avoiding gratuitousness. It manages to deliver thought-provoking narrative while still being entertaining and engaging. I also wanted to talk about my issue with The Boys comics and its creator versus its live-action adaptation very quickly before I got into my conclusion. So to begin my critique, the sentiment that superheroes are overrated is a common one, but it fails to acknowledge the immense value and depth of the stories presented in comics and comic media. However, the creation of The Boys challenges this sentiment in a tasteless manner. The creator of the series not only exhibits an anti-superhero stance, but also an anti-woke perspective. The Boys relies heavily on gratuitous and oversaturated gore, homophobia, racism, and fascination with the military-industrial complex. These elements can be damaging to marginalized communities who are already struggling with representation and inclusivity while in the mainstream media. While it is important to explore different perspectives and challenge traditional superhero narratives, it should be done responsibly with sensitivity towards marginalized groups. Unfortunately, The Boys comics fails to do so. Superheroes have always been symbols of hope, justice, and empowerment for many individuals. They provide inspiration and serve as role models for countless fans around the world. The vastness of stories told throughout comics and comic media allow diverse representation and complex stories and exploration of complex themes. Rather than dismissing superheroes as overrated, we should appreciate their cultural significance while also demanding more inclusive storytelling that uplifts marginalized voices. Rather than dismissing superheroes as overrated, we should appreciate their cultural significance. The Boys, it's a very popular comic series that gained immense popularity over the years, created by writer Garth Ennis and artist Derek Robertson. The comic series explores, the dark underbelly of the superhero genre. On the surface, The Boys presents a gritty, realistic portrayal of superheroes, highlighting their flaws and moral ambiguity. But it offers a unique perspective on what it means to have superhuman abilities and how power can corrupt even the noblest of individuals. One of the major criticisms that I have for the comic versus the live-action adaptation, excuse me if it's I'm going with it a little bit slow because at this point I do have nothing but notes. I do not have necessarily a major script written out like I did for the first 20 minutes of this episode. So bear with me. The comic often relies on, shock value and gratuitous violence to convey its message, which can be off-putting for some readers. Me. Additionally, it seems to glorify, militarism by portraying superheroes as tools for government controls rather than questioning their role in society. Now that I said what I had to say about the Boys live action series and the comic series and my issues with the fact of how, it most certainly glorifies the military industrial complex, with even the ending with the military the whole time being the good guys and having Soup taking down guns and missiles that could take them all out, so it didn't even matter with what the story was. And aren't these guys so cool coming in to blow up these people? It's very much that, which I have such an issue with. This, my conclusion on the comics and versus the show at this part has mostly been unscripted. I kind of just was shooting here because I have such an issue with the comics. I grew up reading like comics like, Watchmen, which is really good. The original one, not this doomsday weird shit that they kind of did with Superman. I'm not exactly 100% sure what that is, but if the Boys comic series was more like the original Watchmen, I would be so much more down with it. But it is so anti-woke, and which at this point, let's just be real, anti-woke. To be anti-woke is just to be a fucking bigot. That's all that means. And I can't get down with that with the comic. I really can't. The show, on the other hand, yes. So now that I got that out the way, let's just get into my conclusion. The Boys is indeed a good adaptation that addresses the shortcomings of the comic. While it may not be perfect, the TV adaptation series manages to improve upon the source material in several ways. One notable improvement is how it handles offensive humor. The show stays away from jokes that could be considered offensive or insensitive, creating a more inclusive and respectful viewing experience. Another area where the adaptation shines is in its treatment of gore. While the comic sometimes indulges in excessive and unnecessary violence, the TV series takes a more restrained approach. It uses violence sparingly and purposefully, focusing on its impact within the story rather than using it for shock value. This decision enhances the narrative and prevents the show from becoming gratuitous. Furthermore, The Boys actively avoids racist elements that were 100% present in the comics, which was another one of my fucking issues. It recognizes the importance of representation and diversity, ensuring that the characters and their storylines are not tainted by offensive stereotypes or harmful portrayals. This commitment to inclusivity contributes to a more positive, inclusive storytelling and inclusive viewing experience. So, in conclusion, The Boys is a commendable adaptation that rectifies the mistakes of the comic. It avoids offensive humor, unnecessary gore, and racism, creating a more inclusive and respectful viewing experience that I personally enjoyed. The show excels in its characterization and characterizing in its cast, giving them depth and complexity. Furthermore, it presents progressive storytelling and forward-thinking themes that promote critical thinking. While not perfect, The Boys stands as a strong adaptation that successfully improves upon the source material. And with that being said, if you liked what I have to say and would like to hear more of me, go ahead and like, subscribe, and put on the notification bell. Hit that bell. And if you would like to hear more of me outside of the podcast, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, now known as X. At Huskasmin. It's on the YouTube, on my YouTube, on the channel. You could go up to my little description and click on that, or it will be down in the description box. So, and I do have a Twitter page for the podcast as well. That's TCN Pod, capital TCNP, lowercase OD. And I do have an Instagram, both the Curious Native Podcast and Hunasmak at the end. And I think that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say. So, with that being said, I'm your host, Hunasmak at the end, and this has been the Curious Native Podcast.